into them. We're going to go through some news, first of all, and just kind of give our thoughts and have a little discussion. First of all, Ninja is back on Twitch, officially. Looks like he's signed an exclusivity deal with them again, which, I mean, I didn't see that coming. I don't know about anyone else, but
No.
he...
I did.
No, yeah, not at all. That shocked the hell out of me, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what his
shit.
sort of first stream back was. He was on when I woke up this morning, and he had good numbers. I mean, decent, certainly better than when he left Twitch before. So, you know, people seem to be glad that he's back. True. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that. If there's anything to really discuss on it, it's definitely a surprise move.
Well, I mean, I guess I was just thinking. So, do you feel different? Do you feel different subbing to a streamer that is not just a partner but also has signed a most likely very hefty $1 million contract?
I hadn't thought about it personally.
That's a good point. I mean, like, because you figure at that point, well, okay. I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at the nature of subs and donos and bits and stuff like that. Like, I think some people probably look at obviously bits and donations as kind of the equivalent of, like, you know, you pass somebody on the subway and like they're playing some fucking badass saxophone and you're just like, hey man, fucking have a buck. That's like some good shit. But then
I'm glad
I think
that was your rep. Like your
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect you so much more now.
and then like, you know, but like the equivalent of like busking or like or you go to a coffee shop and like, you know, the person's just like really rad or they make a hell of a coffee or whatever and like it's just a little something extra. And then I think that like some people probably look at subbing the same way, whereas others probably look at subbing as I wish to, you know, like maybe more from the standpoint of like, say, like Patreon, where it's like I want to give this person, you know, a means to help them make this a full-time thing. I want this to be, I want to support them in the most direct way possible. And this is me just like doing my duty as a fan to show that I cherish and support what they do. But I think some people also probably look at subs as like I'll do it for a month and then cancel it. And maybe that's more tied to folks that have the advantage of using something like Twitch Prime, where it can be like a throwaway is not the word, but you know what I mean? Like they can just once a month just chuck a sub at someone as kind of a tip, you know, like a thank you. But
Actually,
yeah, if they're
like
making
Ginger brought up, I like what
contracts,
she wrote in chat. She said, only reason to sub would it be if you like emotes or something, which I mean, I don't know if she meant it in the way I'm thinking, but I mean, that kind of makes sense too. Like, $5 to get most, you know, 20 something cool ass emotes, you know, $5 for to use those emotes for a month. I mean, that's not a bad deal, I suppose, either. So, I mean, I guess you can look at it that way.
I like it when the big streamer says my name.
You'll be lucky if the big streamer even says your name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We're talking big. He's not saying anything.
Yeah, true.
A lot of those folks are not getting call outs. Like you sub and then it's just like, you know, I mean, maybe if you drop 100
green and then
like
thanks for the $200, you know, you
maybe.
Well, did you see somebody donated to the doc and he was like in the middle of a rant and it was a pretty big number. I think it was like $600 or something like that. And he looks at the donation and he's like, I don't give a shit about that donation. And then he just continues on with his rant. If that was me, I would be pissed. If I like donated that amount of money for this guy to just go, you.
That's what you get for
I'm in the middle of something.
I'd been honored. I would have been honored.
Yeah. There's been a similar thing with Doc as well.
He took 2 seconds out of his day to tell me to fuck off. Oh god, that $600 is so well spent.
There's a clip I see all the time where someone donates to the Doc and says, "Imagine donating to a millionaire, lol," and he's like, "You got it wrong. You got it wrong. It's multi-millionaire, It's an interesting point though, because obviously we now know with some of these streamers that they are tied to these contracts where Twitch is just already paying them for being on the platform streaming. And presumably, we don't know the ins and outs of those contracts, but they're still making sponsorship money. They're still getting, you know, ad revenue, which is not a small amount when you've got a lot of viewers. So do you still feel the same subscribing when you know that, you know, like other maybe slightly smaller partners or people that aren't tied into these exclusive contracts you're more directly supporting that person. It's an interesting one. I know with Ninja previously, before he left Twitch, there was this whole movement of Ninja's already rich, so we don't need to sub to him anymore. Right? There was a big thing like that, and he made the point of, well, you know, look at these, like, you know, say Drake, for example. Drake's rich, very wealthy, he does well for himself. Are you going to stop buying his records because he's, you know, doesn't need the money? Like, which is a kind of I guess
he got trolled a little bit for comparing himself to, like,
yeah, it's a tough comparison to make, right? But it's kind of interesting still, like, if at the baseline,
like a physical product being
exactly
offered with that.
Exactly. But I think his point is, if you're still enjoying,
sure, but I mean, at the same time, you're buying content. I mean,
if you're
that's
enjoying
what it
the
is.
content and you see value and you want to support it, then it shouldn't matter how
Then again,
wealthy
you
the
have to
person is
buy
or
the-
not.
I mean, you have to buy the content to get Drake stuff versus you can just watch Twitch.
Yeah.
It's an interesting comparison, but I hadn't thought about that with these streamers
You have
that are.
Spotify. You
I-
can listen to it. This is really.
I think that for anyone who is like a partner that has signed an exclusivity deal where there's a fixed amount of money like on the table for a fixed number of months or years, then anything that the chat does to support them, be it even a sub, much less a dono or a bit, is basically just like, you know, dropping a dollar in their hat, you know, and just being like, hey, I like what you do. Or in the case of Hum's made an excellent point, I like your fucking emotes, you know. Do they need it? I mean, no. Like, because most of those contracts are for 6, you know, or 7 figures. You know, like if you're making that kind of money at that point, like you are at a position in this industry where you don't need to be doing like a lot of heavy. I mean, there's still a lot of expected of you, but it's like even the people who are at the lowest levels of Twitch, who are grinding hard, who work really hard on their overlays, who work on having a regular schedule, who want to have consistent, you know, interaction with their fans, like they're putting in as much work as Tyler Blevins. You know, he's doing other stuff on the side that is ancillary to just having the stream up and running. But if you think about like what he's actually doing in the middle of the stream, they're going to have paid mods, they're going to have paid editors, they're going to have all this stuff. So in terms of the amount of hours they put in per day to just stream and manage chat and manage their devices and keep tabs on their stream deck and all that stuff, other people are working as hard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it is more of like a tip of the hat at that point.
Yeah.
Because they don't really need it.
I have always been of the opinion that, you know, for like, certainly for like, so there's a lot of like, you know, I want to see growing streamers, right, that aren't huge partners that I will stay subscribed to because I've enjoyed their content. I'm in their stream a lot and I want to support those people, right? And that's like my baseline of like, those are the people I'm going to subscribe to, and, you know, they may drop off or new ones may come in, whatever, but there's those people. As for the big streamers, I tend to find usually it's only if I've got, you know, that spare little bit of money somewhere and I find myself watching the stream, really enjoying it, and I want to show that bit of support. But I don't usually keep like a recurring subscription on like a big streamer. Maybe I'll move my Prime between, you know, these big channels that I enjoy watching. But yeah, that's always a secondary thing. And in my opinion, that should be the way for everybody on Twitch. If you should only be financially contributing to a streamer if it's, you know, money you don't need, if it's spare, and if you are actually getting value and enjoying the content that you're watching. There's another streamer, Disguised Toast, who moved to Facebook. I think he still sometimes streams on Twitch though. You know, he was a big deal. So this whole thing, I remember he made a video on YouTube breaking down exactly how much money he made from streams, and then he just turned off donations. He was like, yeah, please don't donate to me anymore. And he just took it away. And then I believe he turned off subs as well so that people couldn't subscribe to him, because he was just like, I don't need it anymore. Like, please don't bother. And then of course he moved to Facebook. I presume there's some sort of deal in place there.
Must be nice to be that spot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. But it is like that's a streamer who's went on the other side of it and, you know, kind of acknowledged that, well, hey, take your sub and put it to another channel because I'm good. Like, you know, which is pretty it's not a move that I think a lot of people would make. So, you know.
I mean, I think what's interesting is like, even if you just do a 1 month sub and don't plan to renew, if you sit for an hour or two and enjoy the content and you drop $5, it's still less than the price of a movie ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're subbing to that content for a month. So you give that person support for a full month of time, where if you've enjoyed even just a couple hours, by sort of correlation, it is like it is enough money that I like no one should say, oh, it's inconsequential, you know, because then you have like streamers who will sit and say like, oh, it's only $5, please. You know, I deserve it. You owe me the privilege to
100%.
But it is because people are in different economic situations. It is no small sum. However, it's also the kind of thing where if you say, you know what, I'm going to skip that, you know, extra fancy coffee, and I just want to throw some money at somebody because I just want to really show my appreciation for like what they do. That's cool. I mean, I like, it does get a little weird and muddied when you get to people who like can just like shirk a $600 donation like it's nothing, where that person who made the dono is like maybe really hoping that they elicit some sort of like fun reaction out of the person, or just see them really like react to it. And instead, you know, they're just like, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the value that you get, and you know, don't be silly with your money, basically. Overall, I mean,
Only
I'm
do what you're
glad to
comfortable
see
with.
exactly,
Because it is a free platform. It's a free platform, and everything is a nice add-on, but it's not like a guarantee for the people who do it, and people who stream on it should know that going in. So
yeah. I mean, I'm personally, I'm glad to see Ninja back on Twitch. Love him or hate him, you can't deny what he did for the industry.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone.
It's if he hadn't signed that deal with Mixer, I don't think we'd have these streamers on exclusivity contracts and things, which, you know, undeniably is good for those people, because it gives them the freedom to stream whatever content they want and all those sorts of things. So it's I think it's good to see him back, and I'll be interested to see kind of how his channel does, and you know, go from there really. So the next topic. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Right before we jump, I did find it funny that you see when Shroud came back, he was in the exact same position. He moved from Twitch to Mixer, came back from Mixer to Twitch. Everyone welcomed him with open arms.
Yeah.
But Ninja does it. He's a fucking sellout. How does that make any logic?
No, I actually disagree with you, Cyber.
Come on then.
Because Shroud left Twitch, so did Ninja. The way Ninja left, what happened to Ninja's page, that's a whole different story. Like, they screwed him. Like, they celebrated the growth of Shroud leaving Twitch and going on to bigger and better things. They did not do that with Ninja. They fucked him.
But how is that him?
And then
him
instead of
selling
going
out,
to
though?
YouTube or something, Twitch offered him probably more money, so he went back to Twitch. So you know what? Sell out. Hot take.
That doesn't really make him a sellout.
And when I say that, I don't mean anything bad about it. He does him, man. I don't give a shit. You know, he's a business dude. He's making money. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, good for him. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, you know.
But you're right. There's been a definite difference in the community reaction between the two streams. You know, a definite difference. And whether or not Twitch, you know, screwed over Ninja on his way out, still the overall feeling in the community, it was that, you know, definitely the vibe I got was that people weren't happy with Ninja, whereas people were a lot more happy with Shroud. But I mean, maybe it's to do with, without throwing any shade,
likability,
the average age of viewership. Maybe Shroud's viewers just have an understanding of like, fuck yeah, get that bag, you know, go and get that and come back or whatever, you know. Whereas maybe Ninja's viewers, perhaps on the younger side, might not have quite understood that the same way, you know. Because I think we can appreciate if Mixer had offered me, what, 30 million? Like, you know, later. Like,
all I have to do is think about like my views on what selling out were when I was like 13 versus now like in my mid to late 30s. Like, dude, if like Condi said, if somebody was like, Kibble's just got approached for like a $1.2 million contract. He'd be like, fuck yeah, get that paper, boy. Like, it's just like, who gives a shit? Like, I mean, yeah, it's that I think Conde hit the nail on the head in terms of their audience. If I had to guess, and having never seen the metrics, I would think that Shroud skews older into like 20 somethings, whereas Ninja, we know, skews younger. And there's gonna be that like vibe that comes with those audiences where one's gonna get more or less flack. And I don't know. I mean, if you look at their ads, like when Shroud moved to Mixer, I don't know if anyone remembers the advertisement, but it was like this like really super over the top, like he had like shades on and he had like a hoodie and he was like walking through like a neon room, and then he goes and sits in front of his computer and everything's like really like MLG Pro, like super cool. And then it's his wife in the door, like, and then the lights go on and his wife is in the doorway holding their cat, and she's like, hey hon, about to start the stream. And he's like, oh yeah, all right, give the cat a kiss. And then she's like, all right. And then she like waves the cat spot. She's like, bye-bye. And he's just like, all right, cool. And then he puts his headset on and then he's like gaming. Like, he was very self-aware and funny. Whereas like, a lot of Ninja stuff is like, it is that larger than life, very neon light, look. And that's his style. I mean, it's always over the top and dramatized. And I think that makes it difficult for someone like him to make these moves and not get extra flack, whereas Shroud seems a little more down to earth. And as we know, Ninja has some thoughts that he's put forward where he's a bit full of himself. So like it doesn't make it any easier to avoid those connotations, because it's like, again, he's comparing himself to Drake, or he's like, it's just a weak mindset. Like he's saying things that just are memeable. Yeah.
For example, like, Jesus could walk on water.
Yeah.
People are like, what?
So he says stuff that is just like a joke, or memeable to the highest degree. And then, Shroud just doesn't say shit like that. So I think that is what helps them navigate these waters in such a way that like Shroud doesn't get the same kind of flack.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it'll be interesting if we see any other platforms really come out and rise up to kind of take Mixer's place. I don't see it anytime soon, but